What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be doing a retro review. I just did that 4K unboxing of Batman, the first two being Tim Burton films and the Joel Schumacher and whoever the fuck directed the last one. But tonight I wanted to review the OG 1989's Batman, directed by Tim Burton, starring Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. And on the posters and the way this film was like distributed in the marketing, it was Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. You know, Jack Nicholson being the bigger star at that time. Michael Keaton was more of comedic roles. So this is like a totally different role for Michael Keaton, a darker role for him. And, you know, he really knocked this portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne out of the park. And this is definitely my favorite Batman movie and favorite depiction of Batman and Bruce Wayne. So back in the day, we had, you know, the Adam West Batman show, pow, king, and back in the day, you know, the 60s, we had Adam West Batman show, and it was kind of cheesy for, you know, it's the 60s, and it was a long time we haven't seen Batman, so this is like the first time he was brought to major motion picture, one of the biggest movies of the year. This is a film that really made it like a pop culture phenomenon, really introducing a lot of people to this character of Batman and Bruce Wayne. I saw this film in 1989 with my dad. I was real young. We saw this up in Augusta, Maine. I'll never forget it, seeing this film. I sat on a bunch of popcorn, buttery popcorn, so I had butter all over my butt being a little kid, and we watched this film. We were up there visiting family, beautiful state, the state of, you know, Stephen King. I still have family that lives up there. So I'll never forget that, seeing this film for the first time in the theater, being introduced to the character. He's my favorite character in the DC universe, and nobody will ever top that. I love this character so much, you know, the comics of The Dark Knight. It's a Christopher Nolan's trilogy, but this is the film that got me hooked on this character, and to this day is still my favorite movie of all the Batman franchise. So the film's directed by Tim Burton. We all know how he is stylistically in this film. The way he sets up Gotham City, it's very dark. It's full of crime and like pollution, and there's always smoke coming out of buildings and the sewers, and it's just, you know, a place you don't want to be at. It reminds me a lot of, you know, Chicago or New York City. So I kind of think that's what he's going for in the overall set design, and, you know, building this atmosphere of a darker tone of Batman. So we see the Cape Crusader kicking some ass early on in the film. I love that scene, him showing up and the two bad guys, he like beats the shit out of them, and the way that he goes off the building, and just like less is more for Michael Keaton's Batman. He couldn't, the rubber on the mask, he couldn't really turn his head. So like in the shots of the film, all the action scenes, he actually has to like turn his head like he has a neck brace on. It's really probably hard to shoot that as an actor, but he really pulled it off. It's not as over the top and a lot more action like Christopher Nolan's Batman, played by Christian Bale. Michael Keaton really did a great job, just kind of like flying off buildings and things like that, and punching and kicking guys through doors. He didn't have to go balls to the wall with this character to make it believable. And I think Tim Burton really directed Michael Keaton really well in this film, at making him intimidating and scary and kind of dark at times. And we had the opposite with Bruce Wayne. He's just like a millionaire. We don't have much on his backstory. I can see a glimpse of obviously his parents dying in front of him when he was a young kid in the alley, you know, killed by Jack Nicholson's character. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
And one of the greatest lines from movie history, I still love that scene, the way they show young Bruce and his parents being killed in a crime-stricken, you know, Gotham City. I thought that was the best way they went about Bruce Wayne and his parents cinematically. But we were introduced to Jack Nicholson's character. Man, I love Jack Nicholson. He was such a huge actor back then. He goes to some fucking crazy places, as we know, and his characters, or maybe that's just how he really is when he's hyped up on cocaine. Sometimes I don't feel he's like acting. I feel like he's just being normal, like in The Shining, and then like playing the Joker at times. Just a lot of great one-liners in this film, and he is my favorite Joker to this day. I loved Heath Ledger's, you know, portrayal of the Joker, but I guess the overall look and feel of the Joker is better with Jack Nicholson. I love the costume design, the suits he wears and the purple hat, and I love the scene where he kind of transforms into the Joker. We see him for the first time with the makeup, and it's like really dark, and all you see is a guy with a hat on, and he like walks into the shot, into the light, and he like pulls off his hat. And just that shot alone is like one of my favorite in movies of all time. I just love what Jack Nicholson brought to this character, you know, reading the comics about the Joker and Batman and having this image of your head of what he would look like on the big screen. And I think Jack Nicholson really sells this performance. I think he stays true to the character. This film is very comic booky. And it can be silly at times, but it also has a darker approach to it, a darker tone to it that Tim Burton brings. And a lot of the performances, you know, coming out of Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. And he does bring a lot of comic relief throughout this film. So many ridiculous parts. You know, there's a scene where they're going into this building and there are all these paintings and they're like throwing paint on the wall. And it's like the Prince song. Prince had a song for this movie. And it just was silly and over the top. But, you know, it's still fun to watch. And there's a lot of, you know, sequences in this movie that really don't hold up as much as I remember, but they're still entertaining at the same time. And Kim Basinger plays Vicky Vale. She's like the reporter, love interest for, you know, Bruce Wayne, you know, taking pictures and things like that. And, you know, she was a big actress, you know, back in the 80s, early 90s. Haven't seen her in a long time. And I thought she did a pretty good job with Vicky Vale's character. I don't think it's as intricate or as important or as good as, you know, Batman or Joker. But I do think she does really well with what she's given in the script. And for the most part, is a good love interest for Bruce Wayne. But what I absolutely love about the original Batman is the overall tone and the look of Gotham City. You know, it's full of crime, it's dark, it's scary. And at times you feel uneasy, you know, rewatching this. It feels like a city that you may come across, like Chicago or New York. But I thought the way they designed everything and the way everything looked and like color schemes was really well done. If you guys are in the Chicagoland area or live here, we have Six Flags up in Gurney, and they have like the original 1989 Batman ride there. It has the original car, which I still love. So if you're ever, you know, in the area, you can go check that out. It's pretty cool. The ride's pretty cool too. And it takes you back to 1989. But I love the way they did the effects in this movie. A lot of green screen, you know, practical effects. There's like little models, like the street scenes with the cars and exploding, and, you know, like you have the Batmobile and things like that. You can tell it's not actually happening. It's just like a little model set. To this day, Batman from 1989, the original one that brought the massive audience into knowing this character, Bruce Wayne and Batman. It was really well done. It's my favorite flick in the franchise. You know, watching it years later, there's some parts that don't hold up, but overall, I think most of the movie does. I think Michael Keaton does a fantastic job with, you know, going to a darker place to play Batman. Just the way that he's intimidating and the way he comes into the shot and like the shadows. I mean, he's a little shorter. He's a lot shorter than I remember, like when he's fighting people. You can tell he's a lot smaller than the other actor. But he does a really great performance. And Bruce Wayne is kind of mysterious at times. And I thought Michael Keaton did a really good job of really pulling off both of these characters, Batman and Bruce Wayne. And again, Jack Nicholson, one of my favorite actors from back in the day, playing the Joker. This is my favorite Joker performance to date. I think it's better than Heath Ledger's. It's more comic booky and comedic at times, but I just love that performance, and that's the comic book Joker that I know from being a kid and reading them. I thought he really sold this performance and was definitely one of the best parts of this film. The rest of the supporting cast, you know, bringing in Harvey Dent, played by Lando Calrissian, I thought was really, really great. I really wish they would have brought Billy D. Williams in for another film to do the Two-Face character, but I thought he did a great performance as Harvey Dent. Commissioner Gordon in this film and the second film I didn't really care for. I thought he wasn't really needed. He wasn't any key aspect of the script or the plot, and wasn't really an intricate character at all. And the actor, you know, I didn't really care for all that much either. I'm going to give Batman a 4.5 out of 5 Bruce Wayne hair pieces. So what do you guys think of Batman from 1989? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite film in all the Batman franchise? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from Gotham City. Ooh, it's spooky out here. Is that Prince playing in the background? Until the next retro movie review. Cheers!